Hey there, everybody. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included Badlands, episode 14, which originally streamed live on Twitch. And we're almost to the point where I'll start setting up the checkpoint. And then we'll have the 2 suits already. So I think what I'll do is set the checkpoint up sort of here. This is a nice, maybe even lower. You know what? I should have just dug it here, honestly. What's the temperature here? Oh, it's a little warmer. Yeah, I'll put it where I was going to put it. I don't think I'm going to need that much real estate to build in. Oh, let's get some salt water. I'm going to make sure that there's nowhere to sweep this salt water. Oh, so before we start dumping salt water where it don't belong, I'm going to take it off and yes, storage unavailable. Good. The reason I wanted the salt water is I can start setting up my liquid locks with salt water instead of regular water. Not that it really matters what I set it up with, but that allows me to not rely upon our fresh, drinkable liquid water to set up water locks. So this exosuit forge requires a lot of power, but it looks like we almost finished one suit. Cool. There we are. Is the water supply still safe? It is. I made a mistake recently, but I hadn't destroyed it, fortunately. You need to check that it's clean first. Okay, there it is. 1 ammo suit. We're getting that second one. And then as soon as these directs get their scales back, I'll do additional... Well, actually, they're not going to regrow, are they? Yeah, because they're not in a hydrogen environment. That's fine. I don't really need a ton of reed fibers right now. So it's not a big deal that I have a very finite amount. So what I could do is I could go and... Once I have the exosuit, I can go and grab the other Drecos and shear them and then turn them into barbecue. Or alternatively, just have them ranched here and... here, let's lower the priorities here. Have them lay eggs or whatever. So the eggs that we had are 23% incubated. And computing is done. It gives us an arcade cabinet, virtual planetarium, signal counter, duplicate checkpoint, memory toggle, and XOR gate. So I think what I'll do, to make sure that I don't have any spills... Alright, let me deconstruct this. I'm changing the design already. Hey, Yoda. I'm going to set some mesh tiles up here, so if I have a spill, it has has somewhere to go. And then the checkpoint's going to look like this. Which means we're very, very quickly going to not be able to move much. Is that high enough? Yeah, that's probably high enough. So in order to run the checkpoint, we need Atmosuit docks. I'll do in here. 2 Atmosuit docks for now, but we have space for more. And then the physical checkpoint down here. So once we pass the checkpoint here, let me move these. Once we pass this checkpoint, we'll stick on a suit. And then we'll want to additionally add sinks and ore scrubbers as well. Let's get around to that. So then in this position, I'll stick the ladder. And then we're also going to want a water lock, a liquid lock at the end of it, so is to keep the Atmos separate. Which is probably the slowest part of the checkpoint. I should probably recess it 1. No ladder there. Oops. No ladder there. There. So then we'll have a liquid lock in this spot. And then we're free to play on the other side. Over here. So what I'll probably do is I'll have a fire pole for quick descent and a ladder, and then leave space for transport tubes. Which I can break into this and remove it for transport tubing. Alright, that'll work. How'd this get in here? Cramped and elderly, you say? You're gonna be barbecue. Alright, they are filling up a little bit, so I'm going to turn a bunch of these eggs into omelets. Checkpoint has to go after the docks. True, yeah, I set them up in the wrong order. It has been a while. So put a checkpoint. Well, alright, so the issue is, let me think about this. We're going to want a sink. And do I even have ore scrubbers? You can see how long it's been for me. Yes, I do. Sink, ore scrubber. Checkpoint. Docks. Holy cow, hey! My turtle man. Thank you for the incredible raid. Welcome, raiders. Let me give you a quick overview of what's going on. I am playing Oxygen Not Included without the DLC, so the base game. And I am in the Badlands biome, which is known for having no swamps, no gold, and very low liquid. So we are facing those kind of challenges. I'm pretty early on. This is only my 3rd stream, so I'm maybe 13 hours in. And I've also not really played in about a year. My last time I played was a long time ago. So right now, the project that I'm working on is above my head. And And it is to set up a suit dock checkpoint for my dupes so that I can separate the colony from the outside world. And welcome, and thank you. What were you playing? Let me get you a shout out. So welcome, Raiders. Oh, also Raiders, this is my little mascot who is going to get some free carrots right now. Oh. FTL. How was FTL? Did the RNG treat you well, or did it kick your butt? Because half the time I play FTL, I feel like a god, and then the other half of the time, I'm like, oh, yep, can't even live for half an hour. Such is the way. I don't really like the DLC, personally, so I'm playing without it because I didn't want it. Personal preference. Oh, you were victorious. So with great success. That's awesome. Yeah, I love FTL. I'm interested to see if that sort of... There's been like a lot of poor copycats of FTL, but nothing noteworthy, nothing like worth playing. So I'm sort of interested to see if the love of FTL ever causes, you know, a new genre like Dota did for MOBAs, you know? Although, to some degree or another, I guess FTL is just like yet another roguelike. I don't know. It depends on how you view it. You'll pick up dirty hands with freshly washed. Yeah, I should reverse those two, huh? Scrub and then clean. Alright, scrub, then clean. I wouldn't, as much as I love FTL, I wouldn't say it was an early roguelike, because games back when they were, like, text-based, like MUDs, were all roguelikes. Roguelikes are almost like the first version of video games. With the ASCII MUDs and whatnot, so, I don't know. Roguelikes have been a genre that we've seen for like 4 decades. And FTL ain't that old. Mud life. Yeah, there's probably a lot of viewers in here going, Mud? What, is he playing in the pond? In the pools? But, yeah, MUDs were a genre of, like... I'm gonna insult the genre deeply, but basically a genre where it was like, you know, do you want to go west, north, east, south? Like sort of almost playing Dungeons and Dragons with text files. Maybe that's a good way of explaining it. D&D with text files? I don't know. But that's how I would explain it. So here we go. We got part of a checkpoint here. The other thing we're going to need to do is to run fresh water down here. So... God, why did I set my plumbing up like this? What kind of psychopath am I? Don't answer that, chat. I don't want the answer. Alright, so this is the line for the sink. Oh no. I hate that bug. Yes, I absolutely wanted this pug. Yep, absolutely. Thank you, game. Completely wanted to have a diagonal pipe that goes nowhere. Spot on. There we go. So now we're gonna run water down to it. And then here, this little ore scrubber, we will set up a gas pump. I'll just pump the chlorine from over... Yeah, I'll pump the chlorine from this spot to feed it. And then another thing I might want to do is to have a gas reservoir so that we store gas ready to go into the scrubber. Oh, that is unreachable, isn't it not? I'm going to disable the checkpoint because obviously we don't have it all set up yet, and I won't be able to do anything over here without the checkpoint without it disabled. I'm going to have the sink be 2A and the ore scrubber be 2A. I have no idea why, but better safe than sorry. I can tell you right now it's not going to need to go both ways, but as I said, might as well. And then I did the same thing with the power cables. Dios mío. So, if you're still here, AA, when's the last time you played Ani? Would your viewers be familiar, or should I be explaining things in even greater depth? And cheers to you, buddy. Because this is one heck of like a engineering complicated game, and it's probably overwhelming to look at it the way it is, right? Just a little bit. So you've only done one single playthrough on the first map. I would say, just from my experience, learning how to deal with long-term survival is important to be able to be like to succeed at Oxygen Not Included, which is to say, managing scarce resources well, and then managing heat and oxygen. Well, oxygen's kind of easy to do, but managing heat. Heat is probably, now that like Slimelung has been nerfed, heat is probably the death of colonies. Having too much heat in your colony and just cooking your food supply, cooking your dupes, and having everything get disabled. And also maybe managing morale. So here's one little tip. I used a wild pip to plant plants, because pips will grab seeds and plant plants randomly, and I managed to corral the pip into a small room and have it put 4 wild plants down, and then I stuck a nature reserve marker. So I have a nature reserve in the middle of my base, where the facilities that people travel to, like great halls and washrooms, are behind the nature reserve vertical column, as is the barracks, which means that pretty much all of my dupes always have nature reserve morale bonus. And then great halls are really easy to build, so get a great hall bonus. Washrooms are easy to build, get a washroom bonus. And my duplicates, as you can see here, all like 32 over 11, 29 over 12, they're all super, super happy. They're basically just maximum happiness. I would also say, like, my playstyle, it's slower, but I tend not to admit duplicates, most of them. I'm cycle 148, and I only have 5, and I haven't had any die, because it's like, well, I have a finite amount of water and food. Well, I can just be patient and work slower and not, starve. If you have an issue of electrical networks getting overloaded, you just need to use power transformers. And to make sure that your power generation, all your power generation is on the left side of the power transformers, and nothing on the right side of the power transformers, and that way you'll never overload. It's impossible, as long as you're doing it right. You don't understand what's going on, but the graphic style is great? Yeah, Klee games are, they're gorgeous, for sure. Oh, that's not reachable, is it? Let's fix that. Hess is like, I'm suffocating! I know, Hess, I know. This is why we need the checkpoint. Alright, so there's a gas pump that we're going to use eventually. I'm just going to destroy everything else that's in this room, because I don't need it. Although it's, you know what, forget that, because it's in chlorine. I'll have them wait until they actually have a suit. Something else I'm going to need is the liquid lock, so I'll set up the bottle emptier. Get the power on, which they're almost done doing. The sink is not an empty pipe anymore. Cool. I'm going to delete this part of the pipe so I can fix the nonsense that I have here. But here you can see the mesh tile, making sure that I don't have leaks that go anywhere. And I'll put the mesh tile back when I'm done. The mesh tile's down so that we can walk faster, because having to climb over a lip every time is annoying. Will the current grid be enough that these don't drain the batteries? Maybe. We'll see. My guess is as long as we don't have the textile loom, the XL forge, and the rock crusher all on at the same time, the actual power draw is really low. It's only like 200 watts right now. So it should be fine, but if it's not, it can always run another transformer. Alright, so the issue seems to be like a lack of oxygen, which is exactly what I thought it would be. Because it is at the end of the rust run. So one way to produce a little bit more oxygen is for me to flick on another one of these, another deoxidizer, and just run 2 deoxidizers until those suits fill up. Doubling my, my oxygen production briefly, so that I overpressure my base, and then the suits actually get some oxygen. So the checkpoint is close. All right, clearance. Vacancy only. Now this is the only checkpoint, so that's not going to be much of an issue. What I'm going to start to do is to, I'm going to just continue my exploration, because I know I've been lax on that for a bit. Working on the checkpoint. Let's see, did the doubling... Oh, man. So another way to do this, if you're wondering, is here. And I will get my checkpoint oxygenated now. So I'm just going to disable all the vents, all the oxygen vents, turning off oxygen to the base briefly, so that the oxygen can actually reach the suits. And then we should see a much steadier flow of oxygen down to the suits. Would it be worth moving the carbon down here? Yeah, this scrubber should be probably moved. I don't really want to use up precious real estate, though. Maybe I'll let's see. I'd like to put it here, but I'm gonna need to move things around in order to get that done. I'll just dig around from the other side. Why are they in here? Why is there sandstone here? I don't know. I have no idea. Well, as long as it's not causing a problem. We have no leaks or anything. Alright, for now, because we don't actually have a checkpoint, I could just destroy it here. I don't even know why I dug this out, because I don't really need to respect the fact that we have a checkpoint yet. Alright, so if I put the scrubber there, that's about the lowest point in the base right now. And it should be rather easy because I already have fresh water and polluted water lines right where we are. Done. Or, well, queued. The atmosuit docks are starting to fill up, as I said they would. And then once they're nice and full, I'll turn on all the aux vents for the rest of the base. Breathability is still 100%, so it's not like I'm risking suffocation or anything like that. Oh, liquid locks? You've never thought of using liquids as a gas valve? I use it all the time. It's invaluable. It's much, much, much more efficient than, and easier to deal with than, a lot of other ways to keep atmospheres separated. It is definitely my go-to. Alright, this might cause a bit of a spill. Oh no, it deletes proper. Cool. And then this carbon skimmer needs to get plugged in. And we'll be cooking. Am I mixing Jeremy water with the scrubber output? Yes. So here's my water filtration line. I know it's extremely messy right now. Oh, there is a lot of other things that I need to fix. But essentially, Jeremy water and polluted water comes into this reservoir. Everything in the showers, as you can see, the bathrooms, the showers, the lavatories, they all come into this reservoir. It puts it through a water sieve, and then it puts it through chlorine purification. And then once it's purified, where it's not Jeremy, I dump it into this pool here, and then this pool, this reservoir here, has clean water. That way, if I do ever get polluted water in the pool, the reservoir has a separate pump, which means that I have basically two things of clean water. Does this game end? Yes, there are two ways to win. There are two win conditions. That would be in the achievements. How do I get to the achievements? Why do I forget how to do that? But yeah, there's a few different achievements. There's the Great Escape and Home Sweet Home. There they are. So the Home Sweet Home is that you need a population of 12. You need to build the Great Monument, which is out of ceramic, steel, glass, somewhere else. The Great Escape is that you need to go a one-way trip to the Temporal Tear. Alternatively, you could just play forever. It's sort of like RimWorld, where like you can blast off to space, but you don't have to. It's kind of up to you if you want to beat it or not. You can do both, yes. Home Sweet Home doesn't end the game. Alright, so here's the carbon skimmer, and it has worked. It's breathable down here now. Sort of. The Atmo docks are full. So then the next thing I'm going to do is a gas vent. Yeah, I'll put it right here, why not? A gas vent here just to flood the bottom with oxygen so that it's more breathable down here. And then I'll, well, then I'll have a checkpoint. Blueprint. Ooh, give me pip eggs. Yes, yes, yes. So, what do I want pip eggs for? I would like to... Should I have a pip? I have a bunch of wild seeds. I think what I'm going to do is try to encourage the pip that I just got to plant wild plants. Just because I can. And it's not too much of a sidetrack. So we can get some wild farming done. Alright, so now it should be hyper breathable down there, yeah. Yep, okay. Definitely that is the case. And I will start opening up all the other vents to let oxygen flow around the base freely now. How you describe your bedroom in the morning, sort of breathable? Yeah, there's a low breathability there. Torilla, my day is going pretty well. How about yours? Cheers, dude. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to get the pip to plant arbor acorns. But now the oxygen skimmer only has, or the carbon dioxide skimmer only has oxygen next to it. Yes, but the carbon dioxide is heavier, so it will fall into this pit eventually, given time. And I'll put airflow tiles here to encourage it. All right, I think we're good to turn on the Atmo checkpoint. I know they don't have the ore scrubber built, but it's going to be a lot easier to build when I'm protected from the chlorine gas. A posture check. You got it. So my priority was explore south. I have built the checkpoint, so it's going to be just explore downwards. Cheers. So next step is to get a liquid lock, and I'm going to put the salt water that I got in this liquid lock so that I'm not wasting my fresh water. Oh, as Shona just highlighted for me. You got it, Shona. Great minds think alike. So do stupid ones. Hopefully we're both not stupid. Once I have this liquid lock in, I can destroy this liquid lock because it's not needed anymore. I basically won't care about any gases beyond the liquid lock point. So, bring that. So here you can see they're using the Atmo suit docks. And they're required to wear those suits when they pass this checkpoint. And then once we have salt water, we will have our base atmosphere totally separated from everything below. How do I start cooling down the salt water? I have no idea. I would need hydrogen to use the AETN, the nullifier, the temperature nullifier, or like I would need steel to pump it and pump it around the cold biome or something. Basically, the TLDR is right now I have not a good way to cool down the salt water that's in this aquifer, so I'm just leaving it there for later, having it collect. The same is true of the hot water here too. This is being left for later. It's a little bit cooler than the salt water by about 30 degrees Celsius, but still very hot. Let's see. Not Jeremy. Let it go. Thermoregulator is a way to cool liquids. Sure, but I don't really have anywhere to dump the heat. I don't have the tech to do that at the moment. Oh man, they were so close to delivering the last of the salt water needed. Bummer. The vacuum is space. No. Space don't work that way in this game. Oh god, there's so many automation wires here. Destroy it all! You like the little musical building? I do too. It's great. Please, someone, deliver the salt. Also, let's recover this water here. This water's... No, don't drip it! Oh, man. I meant to dig first. Oh, well. You know, I just realized that makes me sad is all this stuff wasn't made of, like, gold. That would have been nice. So here, we're not really bothered by the chlorine environment or the carbon dioxide environment. I know I don't have the lock in yet, but it's not like this chlorine's going to escape anytime soon. But it would be nice if someone delivered a little bit more salt water, because I really only need... I I only really need one more delivery. But my doopies are lazy. Alright, liquid lock recovered. And that will be the last delivery for this liquid lock. Keeping it nice and separate. So if we take a look at the breathability, we do have a pit of carbon dioxide here, so it would be probably wise for me to air mesh tile, maybe like the whole thing, as long as I have copper. I mean, why not? So that this carbon dioxide can drop to the skimmer. I didn't realize I had hydrogen here. I'm just gonna try to delete it. Magically. Oh, I have a little bit of hydrogen elsewhere. I really don't know how hydrogen escaped. But hydrogen floats real good. I'm going to try to delete that hydrogen. Because it's, you know, its mole mass is very, very light. So it will accumulate generally at the top of your base. As you can see, yeah, I have a few points of hydrogen. That's okay. It's an irritant, so I want to get rid of it as it irritates the dupe's eyes. But it's not, like, fatal or anything like that. Unless you put it into a blimp and set it on fire. Yeah, it won't be deleted like that anyway. It'll just get displaced because it has somewhere to go. Yeah, let me just get rid of it. I'm not that worried about hydrogen, like I said. If I really needed to filter it, I could. But I'm going to focus on the exploration because I know I haven't really done that yet. So as soon as I get the scrubber going, I will prioritize exploration a little bit higher. So I'll set the construction down here to 8s and get this up and running. And then I'll have you all vote on a new task, because I'm kind of long overdue for one. I'm going to open up the suggestion box, so if you have suggestions of what you think I should work on, I'll use that as inspiration if I need extra ideas. So, there you go. Another thing I wanted to do is to set up the pits. So what I'm going to do is set up a storage bin in here, and this is for the wild pip planting. I'm going to close the door, put the pip eggs in this room, put all the seeds in this room, and let them just do whatever they want. This will just be a pip farm. Or a wild farm. Man, everybody, what is my priorities for clean? Must be high. Yeah, tidying very, very high. Vasily, thanks for the resub. Am I going to min-max the pip farm? Well, it's not really a farm. It's just wild pips doing their thing. So no, I wasn't really going to min-max it. Not unless I'm told to. I don't really care where they plant. They get to plant wherever they want. Oh, speaking of arbor acorns, let's get another arbor acorn. Seed. That works for me. All right, let me start typing up some priorities here. Explore will be I'll keep explore, but it'll have to be re-voted on if you want me to explore. And I'll add some of your suggestions in here. Okay. And I'm going to pause it. Refunding you, Biggest Nate, because I don't have the capacity to do that right now. Alright, 9 options. Does it fit? It does! So there you go. 9 options on the right, or on the left there. Continue exploration. Expand the farms, expand the ranches if you think I need more ranches or farms. Set up steel production, process oil and plastic, add art to the colony, build a hospital, min-max the future pit farms, or add a rec room. The add a rec room is glitch. That one is yours. That would be with the espresso and all that jazz. And I don't exploit the infinite storage mechanic. I store everything, which makes no sense, but I'm going to do it anyway. Alright, the one thing I haven't done is to... Let me disable this building. Is I haven't done a gas filter. Now, what ends up happening is if I pump non-chlorine into the ore scrubber, it just damages the ore scrubber a little bit. So it's not terrible, but it would be good for me to filter it. So I'm going to set up a filter now. Because eventually what will happen is I will exhaust the pool of chlorine in here, pretty quickly in fact, and then I'm going to want to make sure that I'm not pumping CO2 into this thing. So far it's been pure chlorine, but that's not going to be true forever. And I will automation wire it up so that I can control it without duplicate input. How does the infinite storage thing work? Essentially, you just use automation rails to drop items into a big stack. Much the way that, like, if I removed everything from this storage bin, it would drop it all on the ground. That's more or less how it works. Why not use a sensor in my pipe? Because it's such a temporary project. I don't really care. I'll be done with this in moments. Just a little bit of extra power. Oh, and they're going home. How's my water? Good. Oh, posture check. You got it. All right. Well, if you haven't voted yet, cast thy votes. Looks like steel production is going to be a high priority one. And then I'm going to have to scratch my head as to what coolant am I going to use for it, but that's for me to figure out, I suppose. So you guys aren't glum. That's good. And there are 2 eggs hatching, which will double the amount of suits I can do unless I get them in a hydrogen environment. Yeah, sensor and event is a poor man's gas filter, absolutely. I've used both methods a lot, but just because I'm lazy, I use the proper filters. They're just easier to make. Yeah, still have a bit of a hot spot here. So I'll just let that crank away. The hot spot that I had up here is definitely gone due to that Weezewort. And then I'm pushing into warmer terrain up here, so I got to be mindful of that as it's going to get warmer. Oops, forgot I set that as emergency. Unnecessary. Okay, this is almost done. We are getting a lot of the rescued or recaptured liquid from our liquid locks. I think there's not too much of it left. And it looks like steel production is going to win, so... set up steel production. So the issue with steel production is, or I rather probably should explain the way it works. So the way it works is that you have a metal refinery that is fed coolant in liquid form and then outputs that coolant hotter in the production of the refinery. So it also draws a lot of watts. So it's probably going to want to be in its own transformer. So the issue is, what coolant are we going to use? I was thinking of possibly using ethanol, because this ethanol is particularly cold and might be able to go through a few process flows. And then, yeah, I think that's probably what I'm going to do. So before I lose track of what I'm currently working on, let me put the pip eggs in here, and then I'll at least put the arbor acorns in there as well, so they can plant some trees. Now, the other thing I might want to consider is to add additional power generation, but it really depends on how much steel I'm going to make. Ethanol is not from a new update, no. It's been around a long time. Normally, you would get ethanol from processing lumber, processing trees, so unless you planted a lot of arbor acorns, it's not something you typically have. It's just this biome is not the standard Terra biome, so it has naturally occurring ethanol. I'm going to have you vote. What liquid to use for the steel? Oil, ethanol, water. Oh, what other liquids do I have available? Salt water? Well, salt water wouldn't work that well, but I'll include it. It would probably just boil. And I don't have the plastic for steam generators. And it also wouldn't get hot enough to boil properly to produce steam. I think that's all the water I have. So, what liquid to use for the steel? There you go. I'll put that up for 2.5 minutes. I don't have any polluted water. This biome doesn't really have polluted water. Have you voted on that? Yeah, all my polluted water goes straight into this liquid reservoir and, you know, gets purified. Yeah, it's constantly reprocessed. It's probably too... I mean, I could do polluted water, but I just don't have enough in it volume to have that work. Whoa, I've lost, like, all of my hatches. Oh, no, they were just in one big dog pile. Got it. Where are you running to? You are storing this sleet wheat. Okay. And you only grabbed 6 of it. Okay. Sure. So then the other thing I need to do is to go through and not allow pip eggs and not allow arbor acorn seeds anywhere else, so that we don't sweep up the pip egg or the arbor acorn and they can naturally hatch in that realm, and they're not allowed to go anywhere. I don't really know what I'm going to do with the hot oil. I might run it through radiant pipes. I'll have you, if whether the ethanol or the oil wins, I'll just have you vote on how do I delete the heat. There's a few different methods. of varying degrees of complexity and whatnot. So it will be decided eventually. Okay, ethanol wins by a single vote. Let me have a quick little tiebreaker. You still want ethanol, that's fine. If you want oil, that's fine. We're going to give you the opportunity to vote in a tiebreaker. So, I am adding a little bit of additional coal genny here because I have just a notion that I'm going to require more power pretty soon. And as long as this room doesn't go beyond, what size? 96, and it's only at 55, we'll be fine. Yeah. We will be fine. Alright, at this point, I would say that this is less efficient because this environment, this gas environment, is basically not chlorine anymore. So, I will... And this is plenty of, this is plenty of chlorine for a bit. So I'm just going to break everything down that you see down here. Build it to break it. I'll leave the power at this point. Well, Roman, thank you for the resub. And Kelly for the resub as well. Cheers, dudes. New printables. Briar seeds. Oh, look at you. That is a lot of positive traits. Germ-resistant, animal lover, iron gut, irritable bowel, kitchen maintenance and interior decorator, supplying research digging. I don't really want any of them, but what I am on the lookout for is someone that can start to do art. If we want to get art around the colony. And Viper, thanks for the bits and welcome. Alright, oil it is. Really, it flip-flopped. Alrighty. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included Badlands, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, keeping in mind that this series is a casual one. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream, and also a big thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel. Farewell, duplicates.